I wasn't supposed to make this video today, but a lot is going on and many parents are not even aware. So if you have a baby or you're expectant, you're pregnant, you're expecting a baby, you need to pay attention to this video. I believe some of us saw the comments that was made on one of our posts, I think 2 or 3 days ago, where a mom was talking about how she lost her baby. She said she lost her son because the baby was having fever and she thought it was teething that was causing it. And she never knew that it wasn't teething that was causing it. It was something entirely different. The baby had issues with his spleen and the baby died. The other day, mom was talking about how she lost her baby. She was given pap. At about 2 months, she was given pap and the baby developed digestive problems. From digestive problems, the baby developed sepsis and she lost her baby. If you're a parent, you need to be very careful. I keep saying this, you need to be very careful out there. Especially when we live in a world where people who are in the wrong are usually louder than those who are even trying to do something that is right. I'm going to give you an instance. Sometimes when you try to enlighten moms, you hear things like, oh, I did it for all my 5 children and nothing happened. And you're just sitting there, you think, oh, because one has 5 children, all the 5 children are the same with yours. Your child is your child. Someone else's child is their own child. So do not compare your own child or compare your children with someone else that you may have seen maybe online or offline. They're making comments like, oh, I give pap from 2 weeks. I give pap from 3 weeks. I give pap from 2 months and nothing happened. Because nothing happened to her own or nothing happened to the many you think you're seeing online or around you does not mean that there are no other moms who are mourning their children, mourning their babies due to some of these practices. Sometimes you hear things like, oh, our forefathers did this and nothing happened. Many of us are talking out of the abundance of so many things that we don't know. For instance, when it comes to this teaching of a thing, I usually say that teaching will not cause fever. Teething will not cause diarrhea. And you see people like, oh, it will cause it. I'm not going to talk about teething in this video because I've already made a video on that so that you understand it. So you can go watch that video. When it comes to our forefathers, our parents, a lot of things were done out of, oh, we don't have enough. Let's just manage what we have. So you can't just carry that same practice or carry that mindset and run with it. For instance, a child is born, the mom is producing breast milk, and different children have different level of appetite. Some children, their appetite can be very large. So in their days, you not hear things like, oh, breast milk no dey belleful this pikin. And before you now know it, they'll say, okay, let's give formula. Because of the price of formula, they may even over dilute the formula. And before you know it, they're even unable to afford the formula. What do we now give baby? We're not producing enough breast milk. And before you know it, let's give pap or let's give custard. Before you know it, this baby will be on custard, this baby will be on pap. It's not because these people had enough and they decided to go and give something else. It was a case of we do not have enough. At least instead of just starving this baby, let's just give pap. Or it happened like that, and that was how some of these practices were transferred. And before you know, you hear things like, "Oh, our fathers did it, our parents did it." You need to go and find out why many of these practices were done. Many of these things were done because they did not have enough. So if you know that you have enough and you can afford the best for your child, the best still remains. If you're giving breast milk, give breast milk. If you want to give formula, you can give a baby formula. Those are the two recommended feeds for babies below 6 months. So oftentimes when you see people who give pap, when you see people who give custard, it's because it is not really available. Formula may be too expensive. The breast milk they're producing may not be enough. So many challenges moms are faced with. That's why I tell mothers, be careful with those you listen to. You don't even know from where they're even advising you. Are they advising you from inability to afford certain things and they're just giving you their own suggestions based on what they can afford per time? But if you know that you can afford to give your child the best, please, the best for your baby from 0 to 6 months, the best to remains either you're giving breast milk or you're giving formula. When it comes to giving pap below 6 months, it's similar to how babies were born also in those days, and these moms are unable to produce breast milk. No money to buy formula. And there's this, instead of us leaving baby to just die, okay, let's just give water. Or let's just give glucose and mix it with water. At least let's just be giving the baby the glucose water. These things got passed down to our parents, and some of us are imbibing it, thinking, oh, once you give birth, you should be giving glucose water. Some babies are born and the parents go ahead and give glucose water. Sometimes for 1 week, 2 weeks, baby is just on glucose, and that child is at risk of having so many complications if care is not taken. I hear things like, oh, I did it for my child. Because you did it for your child and your child escaped it or nothing happened to your child does not mean that other babies are not having issues. It's similar to how we also told growing up, if you love eating meat or if you love eating fish or if you love eating eggs, you want to grow up to become a thief. These were things that came out from we cannot afford these things yet. We don't have enough money. We cannot afford meat, fish, and egg for our children. So they'll tell you these things so that you don't even desire it and you just lose appetite for these things. But now we know better that children need eggs, they need fish, they need meat. They need these essential nutrients for their growth and for their development. So if you want to copy what our forefathers did, what our parents did, you need to go and find out the foundation on which these things were done. So if you're a parent and someone is telling you certain things, go and find out, make your own research and go and get adequate knowledge in that area rather than just copy blindly because many people are saying it. Because many people are saying it does not make it the right thing. Oftentimes those who are in the wrong are actually the loudest. When you see people who do most of these things, oftentimes they cannot afford it. And if you cannot afford it, do not make someone else who can afford it feel like, that is not the right thing for you to do. But if you're on the other side where God has helped you and you can afford certain things, God is helping you and you can afford these things for your children, please, what your child needs is breast milk or formula. So be careful out there. And I hope this video is helpful. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, bye.